Welcome to Discover Ramona. Hi, I'm Jan Ryan, your host, where we discover the people, places, and businesses that make Ramona the best place to live. Today, I want to share one of my pet peeves. It's about local businesses getting bullied on social media. These owners put their heart, soul, and savings into making Ramona the best place. And a harsh word online can do a lot of harm, and it does not reflect our community. Actually, on Discover Ramona, we are all about celebrating, supporting, and uplifting the people that make Ramona special. Today on Discover Ramona, we have the man that keeps Ramona's voice at the county table. Meet Andrew Hayes with the County Supervisor's Office of Joel Anderson. Well, Andrew, it's so great to have you on the show, and I appreciate everything you've done for us, Ramona. And it must be a tough job. I don't know how you do it.
I love my job. So, the beauty is that I get to work with so many good people like you and others, right, who to help solve problems. And so at the end of the day, when you solve a problem and you help somebody, make government work for them, it's totally better. Your day is great. It's that shot of endorphins, right? It makes you feel good about helping people. And my job's different every day. So, I show up and it's different. Every day there's a new challenge to address, and that can be a good or bad thing, but ultimately I love every moment.
That's great. I give you credit. And what's your biggest challenge?
Well, I have found that it's really your guys' biggest challenge, right, in Ramona and in East County as a whole, right? And so one of the things that we do is we help people. We help people solve challenges with permitting, with land use issues, with maybe land, real estate challenges perhaps when it comes to maybe there's a lot line that needs to be moved. I mean, all these kind of interesting things that the county does that people don't really know about. But then there's things they do know about, like fire evacuation routes, like fire danger, fire suppression, public safety, sheriffs, law enforcement support. So there's a lot of different aspects. But the challenges are that there's so much red tape sometimes to get things done, right?
Exactly.
And so if somebody wants to fix their house, it's going to take them 6 months to get a permit sometimes. Sometimes it's going to take them 2 years depending on what they want to do. And ultimately, it shouldn't be that hard. And
Right.
so, my job is to help kind of cut through the red tape at the county and try to get the, results for my boss's constituents.
I feel that is one of the biggest things to really get the economy moving is to get rid of some of that red tape. So I'm glad you see it that way.
Absolutely. And one of the biggest things that we see is the policy that comes from the majority folks at the Board of Supervisors. And one of the things that we look at is, and I try not to get too political at county government because it's important for us to know that it's a nonpartisan office being a county supervisor. But one of the things that we see is there's differences in philosophy, right? And so
Right.
I think one of the things that sometimes the philosophy is, well, hey, we want to preserve the environment and take care of the environment. I think everybody wants clean water and clean air. Like, I don't think anybody disagrees with that. I think it's
True.
how you get that, right? And how you accomplish that while also balancing the need of a lot of people. And so one of the things that we see all the time is a lot of environmental regulations that limit the ability for people to develop and build,
Right.
right?
Right.
And so you'll see that there's not many building permits being issued by the County of San Diego. And then you look at young families, like, look at me, I'm a young guy. There's no way right now I could afford a home here in San Diego County. And it's not because I haven't worked hard to earn a good wage. It's because it's cost prohibitive at 900, and I mean, better than anybody.
Right.
I mean, it's $900,000 plus to afford an average home in San Diego County. That's a lot. And
That's true.
so think about it. Government's part of the problem there, in my mind, because of all the rules they place.
And I heard a lot of that is state driven.
Much of it, it's a combo, right? So much
Yeah.
of it is state driven. So you have the state of California that's pushing a lot of things. But right now, though, you'll know that the state is telling the local governments, hey, you need to start building. And if you don't start doing it, we're going to force you to do it. And I'm sure you heard about a recent
Yeah.
bill, SB 79, that basically removes by right approval for local governments and says, nope, if you're within a quarter mile of a transit stop, you can build a 7-story apartment building.
I didn't realize that detail. That
Oh,
is
it's, and
interesting.
by the way, the county has no say. The city would have no say. It's a state law that says the developer can go in and build. And
Wow.
again, that's not a balance either, right? So like
Right.
coming down with a one size fits all approach isn't always the best either. So, some of it's the state, some of it's the local. So like at the local level, vehicle miles traveled. That's
Right.
one
Big
that's
thing.
big thing. Ramona, East County, anything in East County cannot be developed.
I've seen that. I've seen
Cannot.
that.
VMT
Yeah,
is
all the SPAs have been pretty much shut down.
That's right. That's right. And in addition to that, the Climate Action Plan now emphasizes VMT even more. So now we're not even going to be able to build even more. I mean, and again, it's about supply and demand. And so for me, I want to see balance. I want there to be community input, of course. I never want somebody to say, hey, we have 300 acres and we're just going to
Right.
bulldoze it and we're going to put 5,000 homes. No, again, let's have a community input process. Let's make sure people are heard, and let's make sure it fits the
Right.
community. I think that's critically important. But at the same time, let's not just say no to that either,
Right.
right? It's a
Right.
balance, right? It's a complete balance. And so, and again, for me and from my perspective, I have a lot of young friends and family. They want to afford a house. So if we did meet our demand, maybe prices would come down 100,000, 200,000, and make it within reach for a good loan. You'll still have a healthy mortgage, but at least you won't have, $5,000 a month. I mean, that's a lot.
Right. It is. And we do, like you said, we need starter homes for
Mm-hmm.
young families. And, people, as their children are growing up, they need a home.
Yep.
So,
Well, and I see that all the time as a school board member, right? So, in addition to what I do with Supervisor Anderson being his taxpayer advocate, I'm a school board member too in Lakeside, so right down the hill from Ramona. And what I notice is our enrollment, just like Ramona's enrollment, is declining.
which is crazy.
Why is it declining? In part because the cost of living is so high. People are fleeing the state. They're saying, young families are like, listen, we can't afford a home. Our parents are going to Idaho or Arizona or wherever,
Right.
and they're going, you know what, we're going to follow them.
Yeah.
And they go and they leave. And so there's not a buying of homes. They're just leaving. They're not. And so it's really a problem. It's problematic for school districts when you're
Yeah.
losing enrollment, right?
Right.
And so how do you get that enrollment? And then you're competing for the same fish in a pond that they're already committed to. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
it's a challenge. And so as we don't develop, as we don't encourage some kind of growth, local school districts are going to suffer even more. And I think people have to recognize that there's a lot of value in creating developments that fit everybody. And by the way, not everybody wants a big home. They may want to
Right.
move down. And that's the idea of development, right? Is with one new house, it triggers three different interactions, whether it's a sale and the buy, and then a up down move, perhaps. So you want to make sure that you're creating that economic output.
And it keeps the community vibrant when you don't have new development. Like you said, we're not talking about huge subdivisions, but when you shut it down, you lose the vibrancy. It really makes it
And you
difficult.
lose the tax base,
Yeah.
right? Because what ends up happening is if somebody moves into a new house, well, then it's reassessed. And so the property tax is gained by the county so they can do more road improvements or public safety improvements or fire preparedness. All those things fund the local government, right? They fund the county. So to me, all of those things are so important. And there is a balance. And I think in government, too often it gets really polarized. And,
Right.
and we start focusing, like at the county level, for example, the county does potholes, they do fire suppression, they do behavioral health, mental health, homelessness issues, they do, law enforcement, crime, the sheriff's stuff. We don't do abortion.
Yeah.
We don't do immigration. Those
Right.
are all things that are done at the federal level. Those are not
Yeah.
done in the county of San Diego. Everybody thinks the county board of supervisors can do those things, but really it's not. And so the polarization that happens at the national level feeds into all the things that happen in county government, and it's actually not helpful to constituents. It's not helpful to Ramona. It's not helpful to the county as a whole, because you have everybody focused on all these issues that are really polarizing. And that doesn't mean that the county shouldn't take a stand and take positions, but at the end of the day, the county's role is to make sure roads are paved. Make sure the 67, advocate for the 67 and evacuation routes out that way, right? Advocate for expansion and investments in roads. That's what the county's job, kind of core job, is to do, is that nitty gritty of government, if you will. So.
And you know, I know that a lot of times I see things and I want to get involved, but where do you even start? I give you a lot of credit that you were able to get in there and get some things done, but for somebody that wants to do something, what is the best route?
Well, that's a great question. I hear it all the time. I think it depends on what you're interested in, right? So if you're a person who is a parent and you've got kids in school and you really are concerned about the laws coming from Sacramento, then guess what? You need to get engaged with your school board. You need to engage there. You need to go to the meetings. Being a school board member, I can tell you a lot of people don't show up.
I've heard that a lot. Homeowners meetings, plus when they had the bike route going up 67, a lot of people complained about that. And we heard the reason they got that bike route, the big wide lane on a narrow road, was because they all showed up at the county supervisor meeting. So
showing up happens, right? And there is a saying, right? Like, the world is run by those who show up, right? So,
I like that.
So if you show up, you're going to be the squeaky wheel at some point, right?
Squeaky wheel.
Right? That gets the grease, right? But at the end of the day, I just want people to know, like, whatever you're interested in, engage in, show up, be present. Do not, I mean, it's okay to be a keyboard warrior. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to judge you if you're a keyboard warrior. Be a keyboard warrior and show up. Right? Like, it's good to, by the way, it's important to share stuff on social media. It's important. It's such a very important thing of our society. It really is. But, there's a but. Show up too.
Yeah.
Don't just say it online and then not show up. Because me as a leader, I will track what you say online, of course, but I also want to see you there so that you can bring all of your network to show that you won it. Or maybe it wasn't just this one in the middle dark of night you were writing to something because you were mad, right? Like, I don't know.
Funny.
Like, I don't know. But as a leader, I want to know, and I want you to show up. And so as a school board member, I can't tell you how many people will do keyboard stuff but then won't show up at the meeting. Our meetings are in the evenings. It's not impossible to get there. So it's not like we do a meeting at 4 p.m. We do them at like 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So, that's manageable. And so I think that when you look at all these things, there are a million excuses, but showing up is key. And so I just want people to know, showing up matters, and elected officials, myself included, care about that. So
it means a lot. And you did not hear my pet peeve a little earlier, just before this, but it was all about that.
You see?
So
fun times.
Yeah,
See, I mean,
coincidence.
but again, it's true. Like, I think a lot of people who are efficient and want to see things get accomplished in their community, they understand the value of social media, and it really is important to get a message out. I think it's critically important, and feedback. But it's also important to then drive that feedback to make sure that you have people showing up, right? So again, if you're interested in your kids and you got kids and you're worried about stuff going on in Sacramento, go to a school board meeting. If you care about land use and overdevelopment, go to a board of supervisors meeting. If you care about, fire issues, go to your local fire district. Go to a fire authority meeting. There are a lot of pathways for you. Join a fire, run for a fire board. And if you really are upset, run for office.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you'll see that you can make ideas and make change. And so, to me, there's a lot of opportunity for people to get involved. It just takes the will to stay involved.
And I appreciate that so much, and it could not be more true. And can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming in today.
Yeah, happy
and
to
there's
do
so
it.
much to talk about.
There
We need to
is.
do it again,
Again,
and again.
I would love it. I would
Again
love
and
it.
again.
Again and again. It works for me.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching Discover Ramona.